right now. Hit us with the intro, bro.
Welcome back to the podcast! Do like a Mario character. Welcome back to the podcast!
Wahoo! Is obliterated drunk.
Hell yeah.
What is up, you friendly motherfuckers? We have, that was probably the most cringy thing I've ever said. I'm probably gonna cut that out. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. Alright, well, yeah, like Craig said, we're gonna go ahead and start our conspiracies, or finish, sorry. We're gonna go ahead and finish our conspiracies, and then we're gonna lead into the happy holiday season. So that being said, Craig, do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Go ahead, man.
Alright. Oh, you give me the floor. I like it. Then I'm gonna tell you a quick story about the Battle of Los Angeles. Have you heard about this?
Only when you told me you were gonna do it.
Okay. So you didn't sneak a sneak peek on the internet to try to figure it out before I got to it?
No, I didn't look anything up. I'm here fresh.
Cool, fresh ears, baby boy. So picture this, Craig. It's the year 1941, December 9th. Okay? This is during, this is weeks after Pearl Harbor, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Panic was settling in the United States because we thought we were going to get fucked directly in the ass by enemies during World War II. Okay? Let's cut to February 23rd, 1942. A Japanese submarine surfaced off the coast of Santa Barbara, California. And what it did was shoot several artillery shells at an oil field refinery. Okay, this caused several casualties, but only caused minor damage. But this was the first time that the mainland United States had been bombed during World War II. So right now, it is It is February 24th, 1942, and everyone is fucking scared. Everyone thinks they're legitimately about to be bombed by the Japanese folks. Everything was calm, but then 2 a.m. struck on February 25th. Military radar picked up what appeared to be an enemy contact about 120 miles away of LA. As soon as they saw a blip on the fucking radar, it was like, boop, they sirened fucking citywide alarms. There was a blackout was put into effect. No one could leave, no one could enter LA. Like I said, sirens were blaring. Okay? Within like legitimate minutes, troops were already hopping on anti-aircraft guns. They're whipping out all the artillery, and they started just sweeping the skies with searchlights. They had several like really high-powered searchlights. They're aiming up at the skies. They're trying to find what is on the blip, and then at 3 a.m., they began opening fire. So picture that. Japanese aircrafts are all over the sky. They think it's an attack, so they start shooting fucking anti-aircraft 50 caliber machine guns. And then it says that many of the city's other coastal defense weapons had joined in. So even boats at this point were starting to pop a few rounds off, if you know what I mean. Chaos reigned for the next several minutes. It appeared that LA wasn't on attack. And so there were several quotes saying like what people saw, and some people said that they saw, one person said, I could barely see the planes, but they were up there all right. This was a coastal artilleryman named Charles Patrick. He said, I could see 6 planes and shells were bursting all around them. Naturally, all of us fellows were anxious to get our 2 cents worth in, and then the command came, everyone cheered like a son of a gun. So he was, like I said, on standby, ready to pop some Japanese people, and then they showed up, and they start firing. Other people said that they saw a giant blimp-like machinery that were going to drop bombs. Okay, so everyone saw what they needed to see to start shooting the rounds off. The searchlights were spotted on one specific item in the sky, or items, like planes. So the barrage continued for over an hour. So they were just rounding off clips of 50 caliber bullets for over an hour, which is, your ears would be bleeding at this point. When they were given the all clear later in that morning, LA artillery batteries had pumped over 1,400 rounds of anti-aircraft ammunition into the sky. So it was only then during the light of the day, it was early morning, that the military units made a very interesting discovery. There hasn't been any airplanes through the skies. There were no reports on any flying objects. There were no reports of any air raids or air strikes. No paratroopers. I forgot to mention. Someone quoted that they saw paratroopers falling from the sky. That wasn't a thing. That was real. Here's a quote from Army's Western Defense Command. It is, quote, "Although reports were conflicting and every effort is being made to ascertain the facts, it's clear that no bombs were dropped and no planes were shot down," end quote. Which is interesting because a military man later states that he saw an airplane crash like next to Hollywood, which is interesting. So, what the fuck was in the sky? What had these people tripping mad sad? The funny thing, well, not funny, I guess, really sad thing. Ironic thing, I guess. The only damage that happened during the battle was from friendly fire. Anti-aircraft shrapnel rained across the city, and it shattered windows, it destroyed buildings, it just destroyed shit. Fortunately, through the artillery, there were no casualties. However, there were 3 people that passed away because of a heart attack, and there were 3 people that passed away because of a car accident. I mean, can you imagine? You're driving down LA, the nice, Sunset Boulevard, and you just you see like 6 spotlights in the sky, and it's dark, and you just bullets flying everywhere. 50 caliber. I'd be pretty scared.
Because you're a pussy.
Yeah. Craig, what if I told you that what they shot at was an alien spacecraft?
Sounds a little fishy.
Yeah, it is a little fishy, isn't it? So that is what the conspiracy is. And that's why the story is what it sounds like. It's just straight up. The later on newspapers, they basically just state what I stated. That we were just a bit jittery because of all the fear of being attacked, right? And the submarine attack happened not too long prior to this. So the whole story was that. But what if the government didn't want you to know what they shot at? There's a picture online that's circulated that people say is doctored. Some people don't think it's doctored. So I guess you can take it with a grain of salt, and I'll tweet it later. The interesting part is they didn't. You would think that if you were shooting up at potentially airplanes, right? You would fire until you shot down an airplane. Okay, there were no airplanes shot down. Okay, so now let's say that you're scared. You see a blip on the radar. You're looking up and you're shooting 50 caliber bullets into the sky, and you're lighting up the sky with all these bullets. And not only are you lighting up the sky with those, you have the anti-artillery bomb things, the shells, just that illuminates the sky. Okay, now let's say that there aren't any airplanes to be shadowed. You don't see anything. Then why the fuck would you be shooting for over an hour? Logically, you would
bad shots.
Fuck, I can't hit the fucking blimp. Well, logically, you would think that if you're shooting up at the sky and you're first of all, you're not hearing anything aside from, I guess, sirens of your own person, which probably just put people in hysteria, I guess. Aside from that, you're shooting up in the sky. You're not seeing anything. You would have stopped, realistically, but they didn't. They kept going. Why? Honestly, the rest there's not a whole lot of proof. There's not a whole lot of proof that it's aliens by any means, but it's just just a few of those fishy things. And the government changes their story multiple times on why they did it and what they were shooting at. Like I said, some of the people that were shooting said they saw planes. Some people said they saw blimps and other things like that. And then some of them people said that they stopped shooting. I don't know. There's a lot of different stories being told by the government, but they don't have a confirmed history on the Battle of LA. So it's called the real Battle of LA when considering the fact that it was aliens, not a false alarm, because that's what a lot of people say. It was a false alarm because there was no balloons, there was no bombs dropped, there was no anything. Why shoot for over an hour? I guess that's my big argument. I can't think of any other arguments right now. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, dog. No, it's super cool. I it's always interesting when people think things are aliens because it's maybe it was, but because because what year was it again?
1942.
So like, we haven't had automatic weapons like too terribly long. So it's like maybe they weren't that good, and maybe like it's possible they're just bad aim. It's also possible, yeah, like maybe they just couldn't see right. They thought they saw something, and it just didn't work out. Or maybe they were like, "That's a fucking UFO." No explaining it other ways.
What if I told you
So I'm gonna
that later?
do it.
What if I told you that later? History. I think in the 80s, they reopened the case essentially, and they reached out to Japanese militia, and they were told that Japan had no such strike on the United States during that period at any point, or at any location, let alone LA.
I would be like those fucking Frenchman motherfuckers. They did it. It was the French.
Those French! We knew it! I guess technically it could be another country, but I guess the odds of that would be... I mean, why would France didn't even have fucking anything to go off of here.
Yeah, they were just mad for no reason. They're like, fucking America.
They're just mad at us, I guess. But I agree with what you're saying, though, because it's just like... If you can't explain it, then people tend to go, that's probably a fucking UFO.
Yeah, until we reach out to like every country that probably have that kind of stuff, and then they're all like, no way, dude. I'd be like,
oh.
Then after that, I'm like, oh, it's aliens.
There's no possible. I like your theory. It could have been like a really weird.
You think it was
cloud.
fucking Haiti? Do you think the Haitian people were like, let's fucking have a full on militia on fucking America? Like, probably not. I don't think Haiti has any kind of military. They might. I don't know enough about Haiti, but it's very small.
They don't need a militia.
I'm glad. That's perfect. But so yeah, until we ask but it would be like, I bet it was Canada. Those fuckers.
They're too nice. They would never.
Allegedly.
Our neighbors wouldn't do such a thing to us. They give us celebrities.
It was Canada.
You're gonna get like.
They give us stomps.
Oh god. You're gonna get canceled. They're gonna legit the government's gonna like, he knows way too much. I don't know how he figured it out, but he figured it out.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that'd be cool to like. Not to necessarily have the government after me, but for them to like just come to my doorstep and be like, "Hey, man, you should probably shut up."
Be like, "Hey, you just gotta zip it. I'm sick of that mouth of yours."
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, will you listen to the podcast?" And come on.
They're like, big fans. But honestly, you need to chill with that shit, though.
Yeah, just absolutely fucking like berate me, and then just let me go. And then like, of course, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about shit on the podcast," which would be stupid because I'm just like literally saying dumb shit, and they'd be like, "Oh fuck,
oh no,
are you kidding me?
Oh no,
don't you say that shit about Haiti?" And I'm like, "Oh what? What? It was Haiti?"
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, they're just fucking. Go ahead.
I don't know. The reason I picked this story is because I remember hearing about it at a young age, and I was so intrigued. And I was like, no fucking way. Like, we shot at the sky for no apparent reason, essentially. And then what was the blip on the radar? Allegedly.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that didn't add up. And so I was always like, that's a very interesting story. But now that I'm reading it out to you and the lovely audience, there's not a lot to go off of. I mean, it's just speculation for sure, because there's no proof of anything. But it's just really interesting, because, like, there was just no fucking... There was no nothing. Just spotlights. They had spotlights in the sky, and they couldn't see anything. So they fire for an hour straight?
I mean, that's what I do. Like, if I do that whenever I see like a bird I don't try to shoot it. But I just fire into the air for like an hour.
That's fair. Well, I guess
And if that bird runs into my bullets, that's its fault. That's on
true.
him.
How dare that bird? You know what interesting thing that you said, though? Where it's like, maybe this is kind of the development era. Well, I don't know when anti-artillery bullets were made, like 50 caliber bullets and shit. But I bet it was fucking awesome to shoot those bastards off. So I have a good feeling that they saw a blip on the radar and they were like, good enough. And they just looked up in the sky and went for like fucking hours, because they're like, this is so fucking rad, dude. Like, they needed a reason.
Yeah, they're like, I used to have this fucking stupid little pistol, bro, and I'm out here fucking shooting 50 rounds per second. I'm going off, and you're like, damn, that looks like a lot of fun. I wish we had a reason to shoot these.
And then it cut to it goes boop. And they're like, oh, Percy, get the fucking guns.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that group literally had just gotten those guns, and they were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
dude!"
I think they were still on the fucking wrap, like the wrapping, and they're like, "Oh, I want to take that wrapping off so bad and shoot them." You know, that could.
Yeah, I just want to shoot.
I subscribe to that theory way more than I subscribe to the fact that they were like, "We saw aliens, and we can't tell the American people because then they'd get scared because they're aliens."
Yeah, I think what happened was, and I legitimately think that's it. I think they were excited to have these cool guns. So they went out and shot them a bunch, and then the government was like, "Hey, what the fuck did you do that for?" And we're like, "I think it was the Japs. I fully believe it was the Japs, man." We went out and started shooting. Bro. We could have sworn we saw a blimp, and the government was like, "Show us the blimp." And I was like, I saw it. I saw the blimp. I swear it was there." And they're like, "Dude, did you like what? You think it was the Japanese?" And they're like, "Yeah." And that's why we have a big that in Pearl Harbor, of course, is why Americans during the time had such a problem with the Japanese people, and they just want to shoot guns.
They do.
Is all it was.
I think that's all it amounts to. Is they're just like, God, these guns look so sexy. I want to shoot them in just the night sky. I just want to paint the sky with bullets, and then those bullets shredded the entire town. The shrapnel of those bullets. Americans are silly boys and girls. Well, okay.
Yes.
That's really all I got on the story. There's just a lot of speculation, a lot of things that don't add up, but I don't have any unequivocal proof that it was aliens. But I can say with decent confidence that there wasn't shit in the sky. Because you know how many fucking bullets were shot? There would have been something falling out of that.
It was either they wanted to shoot guns and have fun and probably kick back and have some beers, or they were man, and they probably hit him a bunch, and he's obviously just, you can't shoot him. There's no doing that. So those are the only two real options that we have.
What was the second option?
It was Superman. They saw Superman.
Clark,
you can't kill him with a gun.
You just get ting 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 ting, and they were like, "What the fuck is that thing, man?"
Yeah, and then everyone was like, they said that technically it would be right that as an alien, just also an American alien. That's kind of goofy.
Interesting concept. This is a theory I could subscribe to if I went down the alien route. What if they were shooting at the sky? It took them an hour, but they shot down an alien aircraft. It did crash land, because remember I said that there was someone that stated that they saw a plane crash into Hollywood, basically. But what if that was a UFO, and then the government went and picked that shit up real fast, took that into old Area 51 just down the road, and then they kept that a secret, and then they told everyone like, "Oh, I don't know, it's probably Japan or something, I don't fucking know." You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's all I got in theories. Unless you can answer for the old L.A. in 1942, then I guess we can, move on from that.
Yeah, we'll just find out who the mayor was, and we'll shoot him a text or something.
Yeah, we got you guys. All right, Craig. So, what are you about today?
So this is a little more recent, but it's potential, and I will say there's some trigger warnings, and I'll get to that in a second. But it has to do with organ trafficking in the Crown Plaza Hotel in Chicago, Illinois.
Organ trafficking, like
yeah, no, but like human organs.
Oh no,
like
human organs.
Yeah, man.
Okay, that's scary.
Dude, it's fucking real. So, to tell the story, the biggest one of recent, like there's some other examples, but the big one was from September 9th, 2017. Kanika Jenkins, she went missing. She was at a hotel party at the Crown Plaza Hotel, and she was seen drinking alcohol at the party. And a lot of people were like, "Hey, Kanika's not her normal self." And I do just want to say that these, just disclaimer in case like anybody that listens to this podcast knows this family, or if somehow the family listens to this podcast, I don't necessarily subscribe to anything of this. This is just no ill will,
Right.
or I don't mean any
You're just
offense
relaying a
to any of
story
this.
to us.
So there she wasn't her normal self. She had been drinking, people say, and on September 10th she was pronounced dead in the hotel.
Okay.
So there's security footage of her stumbling through the hotel. She's bumping into walls. She's clearly drunk. Which the party was on the 9th floor. It was made clear she had some sense of what was happening, so she may not have been drunk as we thought. In the footage, it kind of like if you can go and look at the footage, and it looks like somebody is like directing her. Like if in her movements, it looks like somebody's like telling her where to go, like following her, kind of.
Like a remote control, or like someone's like whispering it to her. Like, what do you mean? More
like a remote control. So that's like, so it's like people think that maybe that there might have actually been a person who was like walking her to where they wanted her to go, and that that person got edited out of the footage because it did take a little while for the police and the parents to get the footage.
Oh.
Obviously more realistic is that somebody was like down the hall and was like, "Hey, come here." No audio footage at all was received, so we have no idea if that's the case. But she walked through the corridor and into the hotel kitchen, which is not where you're allowed to be. You could argue that a drunk person could make that mistake, for sure. So walking through the corridors, it was almost like she had woken up. So she looked like she was calm. It looked like she was being calmed down. So she wasn't like drunky anymore. She looked like she was a little more composed. From there, in the kitchen, she walks into the freezer where she passes out and freezes to death.
Wow, that's not good for you. Did she wake up in the year, was it 3049, and everything was chrome?
Something like that. But the footage like has a camera on the freezer. There's no footage of her going into the freezer, like at all. Like,
really?
Not a single thing.
Huh.
So it's possible that she went in there and passed out. It's also possible that someone put her there, or somebody, killed her in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first theory, is that she could have been murdered. There are tons of rumors about surrounding the Crown Plaza Hotel, that it's somewhere that human organ trafficking kind of regularly takes place. People may try to sell their organs on the black market to try and make money, you know what I mean? All that fun stuff.
Yeah. She was like manipulated to go into a freezer so that, like, that's just easy pickings at that point. You just go into the freezer and it's like, hey, you're going to go ahead and freeze your organs for us. That way we don't have to do it later.
Yeah. And there was that. So what some people are thinking is that maybe like they killed her somewhere else, and then like kind of piss poorly walked her, but she also looked kind of drunk, and then edited themselves out of the footage, put them in the freezer, so that way her body would keep a little bit better. So that's kind of what they're thinking.
Interesting.
Some people think that the hotel staff found her dead, and rather than immediately call the police, go like put her in the freezer to also help her body keep, which is also a dumb thing to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other theory is that the hotel owner paid her friends $200 to get her to the hotel so that they could take and sell her organs. So, which, kind of makes sense because the hotel was super weird about everything. Like, literally everything that happened surrounding this was so weird. The footage is weird. The fact that there's no footage of her going to the freezer is weird. The fact that people are like, she's not being her normal self is weird. Maybe she was drugged on top of the alcohol that she had.
That was my first thought.
So that's kind of something that could happen. And her sister said no way she could have opened that freezer door by herself, let alone blackout drunk. So kind of makes this possibly be, maybe it's like, the freezer doors are heavy. I don't know if you ever worked in a restaurant or in a big kitchen, but yeah, freezer doors aren't like light.
No.
They're heavy doors. You got to keep the cool air in, and they're suctiony, and sometimes they're really fucking hard to get open. So that's possible. So someone would have to have opened it for her if that's the case.
That's very interesting. That it's eerie. Like the fact that she's not being herself, which to me makes me think of like coercion. Like maybe she was like You know that weird gut feeling that like sink to the bottom of your gut feeling where someone told you to do something and the alternative is something very bad. So what if she was like told to do something and then if she didn't, like her mom would get like shit on. You know, obviously
Right.
I mean more severe things, but you know, it's like a scary feeling. So maybe she was coerced that way on top of maybe just drugs.
But I mean, guests complain at this hotel all the time about hearing strange noises when they're in their room, like really like disturbing, like opening the door and just really disturbing things happen. So the hotel could definitely be hiding something. You know, not crazy. The long shot part, the Hail Mary here, is super weird. But Selena Gomez, around this exact same time, like after this happened, had a kidney transplant in Chicago. And some people think that she bought the organ from the black market and covered it up. So, which she has the perfect alibi because her best friend donated her kidney. That's, you know, obviously, you know, the story that she donated her kidney. They posted pictures on Instagram showcasing them together in the hospital and making a post about it. And in the music video to the song Fetish, which this is the best part, Selena Gomez, and towards the end of it, she walks into a giant freezer and just stumbles in there for a while.
Really? That doesn't help her.
Like in the freezer, in the video, right at the very end of the video, she stands in front of a wall where a pair of angel wings are like painted on there. So like she like dies in the freezer.
Oh, what the fuck? Selena's confessing to a crime.
She stumbles. Yeah, no joke. She straight up stumbles into a freezer, and then you can assume just dies. So that's fucking crazy.
As I say, if they didn't plan that, that's incredibly coincidental. Like, honestly, a little too on the nose.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, no, that's insane. That's legitimately, like, insane.
At the end, they had, like, a little, like, rest in peace, Komiko, or something like that, or this video was inspired by, like, you know, like, they literally confessed to it.
Yeah, and, I mean, Selena Gomez is a millionaire, you know, recording artist, actress, very successful, plenty of money, could theoretically, if someone had an organ that she needed to survive, which she did need to survive, she could have bought it very easily.
Technically, yes. With that much money, anything is possible. Because my first thought was, like, Selena Gomez isn't, like, an axis of power within the entertainment industry, as far as I know. Of course, I don't know that much, but when I think of Selena Gomez, I'm like, okay, you know, popular teen pop sensation, you know, whatever. If you have millions of dollars, technically, yeah, you can go use that money anywhere, and one of those things could be black market. And the black market people, then they'll take it.
Yeah, she's not Illuminati.
Right, no, yeah. I guess that's what I'm trying to, like, combat.
But,
like, she's not Illuminati stuff, but she just has buku bucks, so technically, yes, she could absolutely go pay for someone to do the crazy work for her.
So, you know, it's all super weird. The murder part, like, because she, like her, like, I don't think they found her harvested, but like her organs were like you know what I mean. Like they didn't harvest her organs. Like they didn't find her in the freezer like fucking empty.
Okay.
But like I mean, obviously, like if you at this hotel has a scheme going on, they probably have a coroner or somebody who will do that. You know, so because you know do all the dirty work kind of stuff. So if it's a bigger, and also Chicago police very publicly just like a corrupt organization. So, you know, there's all kinds of stuff that could go fishy with it.
Yeah.
And the whole Selena Gomez thing is it's such a weird turn, but it makes so much fucking sense at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I truly don't. I think like, I mean, I think more often than not, a family member or friend will donate a kidney to somebody.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, your friends in need.
People randomly just donate kidneys.
Yeah, if you have a compatible kidney and your friend needs it, like sometimes it's like, all right, let's get this bread. especially if your friend is Selena Gomez.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like, sure, like, I'm sure, like, donors after they pass, you get kidneys and stuff. But I mean, living people probably give them way more often than dead people.
Yeah, because a kidney doesn't last too long.
Just because.
In a cadaver.
Yeah, so it like makes sense that it makes perfect sense that her friend would do that because it's such an intimate thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give my kidney to somebody I didn't know because. Or I wouldn't want a kidney from somebody I didn't know because that person could be a bad person.
Yeah.
Or I could give my kidney to a bad person.
Yeah.
So it's all kinds. Like what if I gave my kidney up and they're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be this guy and it ends up being like a Nazi?
Yeah,
I'd be pissed.
I'd be so pissed. I'm like, oh, it's my kidney.
So generally, yeah. So yeah, someone's like, hey, you need a kidney replaced. I feel like the first thing you do is turn to family and friends, which is why I assume, hey dogs, what are you doing? So I would assume that's the route she also took.
Right.
But it's still weird. It's all very weird.
You see, like, I mean, I agree. I think that you wouldn't have had me until the fucking... It just seems so subliminal. I need to watch the music video because...
Yeah, dude, I did watch it. Erica had to remind me of this because it had been... I mean, it's been like 3 years since it happened. But we, like, watched it afterwards, and I was like, oh, that's fucked. Like, that's really fucked up. But
what's the video?
Because she like I didn't see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the music video to Fetish, her song Fetish. So very uncomfortable is what that makes me because she seems like a very nice person. So to be the case, that'd be fucking awful. But I do subscribe to the idea that she was murdered because like probably did some stuff and then left her to die. So that's probably or did some stuff and it went wrong and she died and then we're like, well, put her in the freezer. Is probably the most logical thing.
That's what we'd have to,
but
infer as well.
There's a lot of with all the rumors about it, about like about trafficking and that, like just one specific hotel, and then this kind of thing happens. It's just kind of like maybe you guys killed her.
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm legit right now just watching the Fetish video, and I can't hear it, so. I guess maybe I don't know a thing or two. But let me explain it to the people. You need to go watch this. But, like, it's Selena Gomez going through an exorcism, it looks like. So she's really scary looking. She's twisting and turning, and she's pouring water all over herself. And she's just like, to me, it looks like, someone that's not controlling their body. You get what I'm saying here?
Yeah, no, it's legit, like, it's legitimately, like, very, like... If she were, like, if the police were like, you are a suspect in this because of all the substantial evidence, and then they saw this music video, they'd be like, bro, you're gonna go to prison.
They'd be like, I don't know. Oh, and she's, like, laughing, like, maniacally, though, like, at the end. Did you catch that part?
Yeah, dude.
It's, like, straight up, the entire video is her being weird and, like, controlled looking, and then at the end she stumbles. I don't know who the guy is. Gucci Mane? Oh, Gucci Mane's involved. But
I know, isn't it great that it's a feature?
Well, the funny thing, I get it. Think about it. Because when she got her kidney replaced by this donor, she was Gucci Mane. It all makes sense, bro. Yeah, no, that video, honestly, that makes me even more convinced. That's really freaky. Honestly, just what? And I would say, even if you don't, like, I kind of wish people didn't know the story that you just told, and then they watched this video silently, because when you look at it silently and you don't know the story you just told, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, that was a really weird video. Okay, now, if you watch the video silently after knowing your story and the implication, it becomes really freaky looking. Like, it's kind of, honestly, I'm a little, I got like a little bit of goosebumps, because I'm like, that is just so on the nose, it looks like. It just looks so on the nose.
Yeah, if you go into it saying Selena Gomez killed that girl, you'll believe it.
Exactly, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. If that is your mindset prior to watching the video, you subscribe to that theory.
I was saying, like, there's some really bad theories out there, man, but, like, that one's pretty good. That's one of my, like, we had to get it pulled out of my brain, but it's a doozy, because you're like, oh, Selena Gomez is such a sweet person, it seems really nice and just, like, positive, and she has that cooking show, and it's great, and she's such a nice person again, and she dated Justin Bieber for some reason, but
Yeah.
like we assume that her dating Justin Bieber is like the worst thing she ever did. But then she also may have killed a girl.
Okay, here I'm reading a little bit about it. So the theory is, or I don't know if she came out and said it, I'm not sure, but basically it's supposed to be about like rape and not getting over, but you know what I mean, like coping with like rape or something.
Yeah. So I mean, which is for sure. Like I mean, that's kind of what people assume happened to her was like.
Oh.
It was rape gone wrong.
Like
and
in the
they were like, yeah, so they're like shit and like may have killed her, and they were like, we got to do something with her, and they threw her in the freezer or something like that, which is, I mean, sadly probably what happened.
That's most likely,
because
like, if we're being realistic, yeah, honestly, which is so fucked, but probably the truth.
Yeah, and which that could still be a hotel thing. They could have still edited themselves out.
Yeah.
Night workers at a hotel, they have access to rooms. You know, like, I mean, it's, you don't want to think about it like that, but that's like, people are shitty, and if stuff like that is a common occurrence in that specific hotel, or at least rumored to be, it's got like that reputation, then it's like, man, you kind of gotta just go ahead and run with that and assume. But like, yeah, and I don't want to put the blame on anybody, obviously, but like, shame on the people at that party for letting a woman maybe not letting, she may have like said, I'm going elsewhere, but shame, you should, if you see someone who, you know, even if she's acting like maybe she's acting like a bitch that night, and they were like, we're over Kanika tonight, I hope she goes to bed soon. Like, I mean, she's drunk, you could assume the best and that she's gonna super easily make it to her hotel room. But like, even in a city like as big as Chicago, we can just assume there's bad people, you know.
Right.
Like, even if you're one floor below, like, the party, like, someone should have walked her back to her room. It's not like you can't go back to the party.
Right.
You can absolutely do that. So that's super shameful, and I feel awful, and I hope those people also. I don't want to I don't want to put the I don't want to. I'm sure they feel terrible.
Responsible for it by any means, but
yeah, and it's not their fault. She's dead,
right?
But it's like, I would feel terrible if I could have like potentially walked somebody home, and you know, and I didn't, and then they just died. That would make me feel like trash.
Yeah, I'd feel pretty bad about it, honestly. I can't stop just rewatching this video. I'm scared. So, I would implore everyone to go ahead and to look up this video. It's called Fetish by Selena Gomez. Music video. But yeah.
Selena Gomez. Like, just the way it all connects is kind of crazy. Right. But yeah, I don't mean to any ill will towards anybody or anything like that. It's just kind of crazy.
That's spooky. But yeah, well,
no bad vibes.
No bad vibes here. If you guys want to know more about these topics, definitely we would ask you to go look them up. They are very interesting. That you can look them both up. You can look at the music video. Easy peasy. But we hope we did a good job explaining them in full detail. Next topic will be more like wintry themed. It's just like a special Christmas holiday, or not Christmas specifically, just holiday season genre stories, and that can range from literally anything. So I'm curious what Craig's going to bring to the table. I'm curious what I'm going to bring to the table. Okay, so tune in next time. Thanks for stopping by, and we hope you don't get too scared watching that music video. Spooky. So Craig and I had a different idea for the holiday season. I think our plan is to simply have multiple stories, but we're not going to do one weekly. I think we're going to try to spend more time with the fam, try to focus on just the holidays, and just have a good time with our lives in that capacity. But the next episode, Craig and I will be together, and so it's going to sound so beautiful. You guys are going to love it. We're going to have some stories about the holidays, and that, like we said earlier, that can range from anything. It can just be anything as long as the theme is holidays. So be prepared for a smorgasbord of entertainment. And with that, Craig, any final thoughts here?
No thoughts. Just everybody. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed the giving thanks thing, yes. And then also just enjoy if it's snowing where you are and you like snow, enjoy it. If you hate snow, don't enjoy it. Yeah. Rue the day that snow existed. Hopefully your holidays are good. make the old people fear other denominations, and
Excellent.
and the war on Christmas. And yeah, go get them.
Go get them, guys. We're rooting for you as much as you're rooting for us. We really appreciate you and your viewership. So please continue to support and love us. Follow us on Twitter at stories_boys. And if you want, we're working on a merch shop right now. We are actually going to make t-shirts and we're going to sell them. So bear with us on that project, but we'll get back to you on that. So we will see you sometime in December. Please stay safe and fuck each other like bunnies.